toy spot, we are having a look at the DC Collectibles Justice League, the animated movie of Throne of Atlantis. We're having a look today at number 14, Ocean Master. Truthfully, it was one of the figures that I was least interested in picking up. I don't know, there's just something about Ocean Master that never really has appealed to me. I was always gravitating more towards Black Manta personally, but the figure still looks pretty solid. This is number 14 out of the DC animated movie line. So even though there's 4 figures in this line, he is number 14 though of the other, animated series figures. Spinning around the back of the package, the other 4 figures in this set are number 11 Aquaman, number 12 Mira, number 13 Black Manta, and number 14 Ocean Master. To find a local comic book store in your location, you can go to www.comicshoplocator.com, put your postal code, your zip code, or any code that you have to distinguish where you live, and Comic Shop Locator will find a comic book store closest to you. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, though, we're going to get a better look at Justice League, the animated movie of Throne of Atlantis. We're going to be having a look at Ocean Master. There's more anyway, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Immediately when I got Ocean Master out of packaging, it dawned on me that it was one of those figures again that looked okay in packaging, but actually out of hand, he turned out to be a much better looking figure. It's one of those figures that again can do that. I'm not sure if maybe you guys have had similar circumstances where a figure looks okay, looks kumsi kumsa, but when you get him out of packaging, you're like, wow, he's actually pretty good as a whole. Coloring is quite nice on him. He still carries over that same sort of animated, it's not quite black, but it's kind of this purple-based dark gray making up the body of Ocean Master here. This color has been used a lot with the animated figures from, like, say, the likes of Batman and Son, or Son of Batman, and of Justice League War. This kind of color scheme carries over, it seems, with all of those figures. I like his face. His face actually turned out a lot better than I was expecting. Nice dark recessed eyes there. You can't almost quite make out his mouth. I kind of wish it was just a little bit darker, but I love the coloring, this kind of cream color that they used for his mask. It almost looks like bat wings. I think that's a really nice touch. These are separate independent pieces. I don't feel like they're going to break off like I was worried with when it came to Mira. And he's got the fins kind of coming down the side. He also kind of reminds me of Merman. I don't want to be mixing and matching when it comes to mediums here. It kind of reminds me also of Merman. So all around, great looking face. Details don't stop there, mind you. The sculpting on his little gauntlets here are quite nice too. It's not just fins either. It's this scaling kind of, almost looks like a fossil, like a fishbone frame, scaled into these little wings that he's got coming down from his, almost like talons, little gauntlet pieces. And then finally, the awesome accent pieces down in his legs here. These are also a sturdier plastic. Surprisingly not warped either, although so if you were to package this, put it away, bag it away for future display, these might get squished. I don't know, it's possible. But the details also there are phenomenal. I really like how this little scaled effect there. It's quite nice. He sadly doesn't have it going on here. This is just painted on, but that's consistent with other animated movie figures. It seems like a lot of when it comes to torso details, I should say, none of which seems sculpted. They're always painted on. He's also got a very nice cape too. The sculpt on the front of the cape is quite nice. It's a little less interesting in the back. I don't like how it kind of billows to the side. I wish it was more straight. But it looks good from the front. And that's likely where you're going to be displaying it, unless you're one of those people that like to display figures from the back. I don't know. You might be one of those people. Teased once again by the idea that he's got an open hand, although he doesn't have any accessories to hold. Kind of like Mira. He's teased, but nothing included. Having a look at the other figures, now I find Ocean Master is a little harder to stand. I say harder to stand, it only really means that when it comes to, a fabric surface, he might be a little more problematic to stand. The other figure that we had to look at was Black Manta, and of course we had Mira. Surprisingly, she stands a lot better than I thought she was going to stand. And finally, Aquaman. Great looking figures. Very distinct from one another as well. They still hold true to that animated style, which I also really love. And they bring their own thing to the table. Initially, I really wasn't so keen on Ocean Master, but he ended up turning out to be a really great, solid figure. I think, though, of my favorites here, my favorites might be Mira, and it might be, well, obviously it is Black Manta. Those two figures. Something about her, the coloring and the sculpt of her really impressed me. And, of course, Black Manta always impresses me. Moving those figures out of the way, of course, we've done reviews on all of them. Check them out. They're there. Today's toy spot, we were having a look at the final figure from the animated movie, Justice League Throne of Atlantis. We're having a look today at what I initially thought was going to be a disappointing figure and ended up pretty impressive. Today we're having a look at Ocean Master. Certainly stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more toy spots in your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.